2017 Jeep Grand Cherokee, New Grand Cherokee Jeep. The 2017 Jeep Grand Cherokee is a benchmark SUV. It's a luxury vehicle, a talented off-roader, a scalding hot track runner, and a family wagon extraordinaire. The Jeep Grand Cherokee is a great family vehicle, just one that's also potentially ready to go off-road, tow a trailer or, on occasion, do things that are more workhorse-like than you'd attempt in most other typical family crossovers. With the Grand Cherokee, Jeep offers Laredo, Limited, Overland, Summit, Trailhack and SRT versions. We rate it at 7.7 out of 10. A handsome, deeply talented performer, the Grand Cherokee is let down by its surprisingly poor crash test scores. Jeep Grand Cherokee styling and performance. Today's Jeep Grand Cherokee is quite a handsome ute, although not everyone is a fan of the thinner, more understated grille that was introduced a couple of years ago. The SUV's shape has been made more distinct with help from LED taillights and some better detailing, so there's less in common with the X5 and Touareg, and more with the 1992 original. The cabin is richly furnished, with marvelous textures and materials on the pricey models, and great layout and design even on the basic Laredo. The Grand Cherokee is one of FCA's best interiors, in design and execution, and it's fully competitive with other models carrying luxury badges. 3 engines are available in the standard Grand Cherokee. Base model use a 3.6-liter V6, which now makes 295 horsepower and is fitted with a fuel-saving engine stop/start system. Then there's the 5.7-liter V8, which puts out 360 HP. The most efficient and torque-rich option is the turbodiesel 3.0-liter V6, with 420 pounds-feet of torque. It achieves up to 30 miles per gallon on the highway and stretches range to 730 miles, offering best-in-class towing of 7,400 pounds. All 3 engines are backed by an 8-speed automatic. The Grand Cherokee also offers an available air suspension, which can improve highway mileage further by lowering at speed. The on-road performance-oriented Grand Cherokee SRT features a 6.4-liter V8 that now makes 475 HP and a 0 to 60 mph time of about 4.8 seconds. With launch control and a sporty 70% torque split to the rear in track mode, it's one of the best handling SUVs we've driven. The Grand Cherokee hasn't given up any of its off-road talent. Instead, it's added to it in recent years. The most advanced versions can still clamber over boulders and logs with ease, and the new automatic enables a lower crawl ratio that suits the diesel especially well. With 3 4-wheel drive systems, as well as the Select Terrain Management System, which automatically caters the powertrain settings for the terrain sand, mud, auto, snow, and rock, you have a lot of options, so make sure you opt for the Grand Cherokee with the capability you need. The EPA has rated the Grand Cherokee from 22 miles per gallon city, 30 highway, 25 combined for a rear-drive diesel version to 13/19/15 mpg for the thirsty V8 in the SRT model and nearly everywhere in between those ratings. Grand Cherokee Utility, Features, and Safety. The Grand Cherokee is a 5-passenger, 2-row model. Go to its cousin, the Dodge Durango, if you'd rather have 3 rows. But interior space is quite good. Multiple color schemes and interesting trim options, like open-pore wood, push the Grand Cherokee ever higher into luxury vehicle terrain, though it doesn't have the third-row seating or funky flexible interior of some bigger crossovers. The Grand Cherokee is really only flagging in its crash test scores, which are notably poor on rear-drive models. The Grand Cherokee lacks features like GM's center front airbag or Ford's rear seat belt airbags, but it does have a useful off-road safety tool set with items such as hill ascent control, which maintains steady throttle while the Grand Cherokee scrabbles up surfaces a flex or an enclave can only dream about. All Grand Cherokees come well equipped with power features, cruise control, air conditioning, and cloth upholstery. The rear-view camera and parking sensors are standard across the lineup. At last, the list of options gets truly decadent at the Summit trim level, where the Jeep lands right in luxe suite territory with Napa leather, open-pore wood trim, and ventilated seats. The Summit Edition includes every feature imaginable, including the 19-speaker, 825-watt Harman-Kardon surround sound audio system, including 12-channel amplifier and 3 subwoofers. At that level, The only option is a Blu-ray entertainment system, and we take iPads and Wi-Fi connectivity in any case. Finally, on the infotainment front, the Uconnect systems in the Grand Cherokee 5.0 or 8.4-inch are some of the best, thanks to a clean, simple interface. A piped-in data connection adds cloud-based services like voice-to-text and natural language navigation via voice commands. Styling with the Grand Cherokee, Jeep has a classic SUV shape fitted with a slick, upscale cabin. The Jeep Grand Cherokee straddles the line between contemporary and traditional styling expertly. The latest grille and front-end styling are less assertive than in the past, but it still fits together in a way that's entirely cohesive. The blue-collar look is gone, replaced with something a bit more pedigreed and affluent. We rate it at 9 out of 10, for on-point styling inside and out. The Grand Cherokee stands as a pretty sophisticated piece, even if you take it into perspective alongside luxury brand rivals. The side view dish reminds us a bit for a lot of the BMW X5, while the all versions now get a spoiler. The LED taillights give the rear-end appearance a little more attitude, all amplified, of course, for the high-performance SRT model. Perhaps in a move to fit in a bit better with the more radical look of the smaller Cherokee, the look of the front end and the grille were toned down a couple of years ago. As it stands, the grille is a bit thinner and smaller than it was, and it's an understatement in a segment that seems to prefer flesh and big chrome. Grand Cherokee interior. Even considering the now beautiful interiors for the Charger and Durango, and the excellent, stylish look afforded to the Jeep Cherokee and Renegade models, the Grand Cherokee stands on its own. And it's fairly amazing in how it feels like an GLE class, which it sort of is, or a KN, which it supersedes in many ways. Even in base versions, the Grand Cherokee interior feels warm, and anything but plain. All versions get a chunky 3-spoke steering wheel, a usefully arranged center stack of controls capped with inoffensive metallic plastic trim, and a 5.0-inch LCD touchscreen for audio. Material gets stepped up as you move up to Limited, Overland, and Summit models. Jeep applies real wood trim on the dash, doors, and the steering wheel, and it begs to be touched, just as the last generation vehicle's trimmings wanted to be kept at a distance. This is an interior that's at its best with some of the warmer, organic trims, not the ones with a lot of bright work, so it in its best light in Summit's organic coloring, under the natural light of the panoramic roof. Performance. The Grand Cherokee is the best Jeep performer in history. The SRT gives fans reason to look in the rear-view mirror. With 4 powertrains, a choice between rear-wheel drive and various 4-wheel drive systems, and the hardware to keep its performance refined and top-notch, on or off-road, the Jeep Grand Cherokee simply doesn't disappoint in performance, and it offers a wide enough range of combinations to appeal to almost every need. We rate it at 9 out of 10. Its drivetrain lineup is broad and deeply talented, it rides and handles well, and it's an off-road pro and a track monster in SRT guise. Powertrains, ride, and handling. The base Grand Cherokee gets power from a 3.6-liter V6 with 295 horsepower. The V6 offers strong responsiveness right in the middle of the rev band, as well as enough low RPM torque to handle delicate yet demanding off-road situations. In the Grand Cherokee, this engine sounds a bit tamer and more refined than in some of the other models, like the Chrysler 200. With the 5.7-liter V8, the Grand Cherokee has the feel of a Dodge Charger muscle sedan, in some respects, with the V8 offering a great sounding engine note. As much as we like this engine's character, it's not all that much of an improvement in everyday driving to make it worth the penalty in miles per gallon. The Grand Cherokee is the only domestic vehicle in its class to offer a diesel. It's a 3.0-liter turbodiesel V6 with 240 HP and 420 pound-feet of torque. It doesn't feel as overtly punchy as the V8, or maybe not even as quick for passing as the V6, but it has a very strong low and mid-range torque required for easy towing and unbelievable tractability off-road. For the ultimate in segment bending performance, there's the ultra-powerful Grand Cherokee SRT. At a much lower price, it competes with models from Porsche, BMW M, and Mercedes-Benz. Its 6.4-liter V8 trips shuns 475 HP to all 4 wheels on a variable basis through an 8-speed paddle-shifted automatic. Chrysler claims a thrilling 0 to 60 mph time of 4.8 seconds, and includes launch control so owners can see those numbers repeatedly on the SRT's performance pages screen. That isn't the only impressive number. The quarter miles pegged in the MiG-13's top speed hits 160 miles per hour, and 60 to 0 mph braking cuts things short in just 116 feet. It's true performance art, and extravagant in ways you might never associate with the Jeep name. No matter which engine you choose from, you get an excellent 8-speed automatic, paired with paddle shift controls. The paddles are more like short nubs, sticking up above audio buttons mounted on the back of the steering wheel. The Grand Cherokee is one of the best handling, best steering SUVs in its class. Road manners are smooth and crossover-like, without the bouncy ride and the slow steering responses of the past. With the limited, overland, and summit editions, there's an available quadrilift air suspension that can raise the Grand Cherokee from 6.4 inches to 11.3 inches off the ground through 5 modes, great for off-roading, and even more settled on road. The air suspension can also lower the Jeep all the way for entry and exit, as well as when loading, and it drops the car down on the highway to improve aerodynamics and fuel economy. On the SRT, it's so confident and grippy, it feels more at ease on the track than the rumly, rough-riding Hellcats. Towing and off-roading. Most Grand Cherokees come standard with rear-wheel drive, although there are plenty of options for those who want some or all of the legendary Jeep off-road ability. The Grand Cherokee can be ordered with one of 3 all, or 4-wheel drive systems. The basic Quadra-Track I has a locking differential in the middle, with power split 50/50 front to rear, but no low range. Quadra-Track I can split to work variably from front to rear, as traction disappears at either end, up to 100% in theory. Quadra-Drive I adds on an electronic limited slip differential across the rear axle so that the Grand Cherokee can respond even more intelligently to slipping and sliding. You'd want the most extreme choice for the most extreme beauties, but the base setup is lightweight, simple, and more than enough traction control for crossover SUV drivers. The Grand Cherokee is one of the few vehicles that can be fitted with hardcore off-road talent. Jeep grafts a select terrain system to both of the Quadra-Track I and Quadra-Drive I systems. The terrain selection knob lets you choose one of 5 traction modes according to driving conditions: auto, sand, mud, snow, and rock. The former sport mode is selected on the shift lever. It's useful stuff if you don't already know to take it slow and steady when conditions aren't perfect. Some versions of the Grand Cherokee earn the trail-rated designation those with Select Terrain Plus and an off-road package, and we've seen how they earn it, scrambling up 200-foot, 55-degree inclines with a select speed system that puts a steady amount of force into the drivetrain, and controls it in 1 km/h increments. It's brainless off-roading, all granted by smart electronic controls. Maximum towing is rated at 6,200 pounds with a V6. While the V8 or the diesel raise that to potentially 7,400 pounds. Comfort and quality. The Grand Cherokee simply nails the utility part of the sport utility vehicle formula, and top versions are downright swanky. The Jeep Grand Cherokee does many things right, but the most underrated of its talents might be how it carries up to 5 adults and cargo. We rate it at 10 out of 10 for comfort, utility and quality. It has very good seats front and back that actually can carry 5 adults, very good storage capacity, and on top trims, it's among the best of its price class. The Grand Cherokee focuses on 5, while its cousin the Dodge Durango totes up to 7 passengers. Both ride on a rather long 114.8-inch wheelbase, and the Jeep's better use of that space shows in its adult-friendly legroom front and back, plus easy entry and exit from large doors that open up 78 degrees. There's a lot to like in the way the Grand Cherokee seats those passengers. The driver and passenger get wide cushions with a fair amount of bolstering, except on standard-issue Laredo versions, where the cloth seats tend to be pretty flat, with bottom cushions that are a little too short. The seats in the SRT model instead get some very heavily bolstered seats that we like for different reasons. They're a little snug, but offer good back support. The Grand Cherokee's cabin feels generous in width, that helps leave room to rest an arm on the center console, if you so desire. Even with the available sunroof, 6-footers will still have a couple of extra inches of headroom. In back, 3 adults have a good shot at sitting comfortably. 2 will be quite happy, with plenty of room to slouch and fold down the middle armrest. The seat backs recline and tilt 12 degrees in each direction for even better comfort, all the better to enjoy those 4 additional inches of legroom. Cargo storage and quality. The Grand Cherokee doesn't shirk its cargo beauties, either. You can flip down the rear seats with a single lever, and on some versions the front passenger seat folds flat, too, just in case you need to take a grandfather clock for a ride. All versions of the Grand Cherokee are rated at the same storage space, at 36.3 cubic feet behind the rear seats, with a somewhat high but long cargo floor. The flip-up glass for the tailgate went away with the last generation GC, but you can raise the entire lift back by power on all versions standard from Limited on up. Additionally, on the rear versions, the cargo area gets fine padding and trim bars. Small items won't get lost inside this Jeep. There's a console bin ahead of the shift lever that contains all the audio ports, which are ringed in soft light, but there's only just enough room for a small smartphone. The 2-level console bin and bottle pockets on doors are useful, but the rest of the door pockets aren't very long or deep. And our favorite storage detail probably remains the removable dual bins next to the spare tire. The Grand Cherokee has entered the era of touchscreens and electronic gauges with much grace, and it seems like trim quality and materials have never been better. The Summit Edition patterns its finishes and color choices after nature. It's like the most upscale LL Bean or Eddie Bauer edition you've ever seen, with a marked lack of bright finishes and earthy tones like copper and green paired with open grain, matte finish wood. The Grand Cherokee is for the most part a very quiet vehicle. It has big square mirrors, so you'll notice wind noise on the highway. And in the turbodiesel model, the engine's clatter at idle and lower speeds is a bit loud at idle and lower speeds. Perhaps what's most important when it comes down to evaluating the Grand Cherokee's interior comfort and quality is its relative value. At the base level it outclasses its immediate rivals, while the top-end models come close to Range Rover quality fixtures for a fraction of the price. Sure, a Range Rover feels a lot better inside, but does it feel $40,000 better? Safety. The Grand Cherokee is starting to show its age, with lower crash test scores and a lack of some standard safety gear. The Jeep Grand Cherokee is starting to show its age, at least in crash test scores. It slipped from a top-ranked vehicle to a lower-rated one, due to the more difficult tests designed by both the federal government and the insurance industry. We rate its safety at 4 out of 10. We give it a point for WD model 5-star NHIS A rating, but dock it points for the RWD model 4-star overall rating, and its 3-star rollover resistance score. More on those scores. The IIHS says the Grand Cherokee is a good performer on all tests, except for its tougher small overlap front test. On that, it gets a marginal rating, which disqualifies it from top safety pick contention. The NHIS splits the Grand Cherokee into 2 different models, rear and 4-wheel drive. Rear drive model get 4 stars overall, with a 3-star rating for rollover resistance. 4-wheel drive versions are rated at 5 stars, and their rollover score rises to 4 stars. All Grand Cherokees have a full suite of airbags, as well as trailer sway control, hill descent control, and hill start assistance. Active headrests are standard as well. Bluetooth is standard, and rear view camera is now standard on all Grand Cherokees. On other models, safety options include parking sensors and blind spot monitors. Adaptive cruise control is available, bundled with a frontal crash warning system. The Grand Cherokee can also be fitted with automatic high beams. The Airy Grand Cherokee provides drivers with great forward vision. The hood's shaped to give a good sense of the front corners, and the very large side mirrors are almost square. 4-wheel drive Grand Cherokees feature hill ascent control, which is like off-road cruise control for uphill work, the sort of automatic climbing mode. Speed is selected in 1 km/h increments. Features. The Jeep Grand Cherokee puts up a smorgasbord of options, with the most tempting being its SRT and turbodiesel editions. The Jeep Grand Cherokee comes in Laredo, Limited, Overland, Summit, Trailhack and SRT versions. Within those versions are several noteworthy packages and special editions. We rate it at 8 out of 10 for features, thanks to its extensive options list and its infotainment system, and it gets a point for its above and beyond turbodiesel and SRT models. On the Grand Cherokee Laredo, standard equipment includes 17-inch wheels, air conditioning, a tilt/telescope steering wheel, cloth seats, power windows, locks, and mirrors, cruise control, keyless entry, an audio system with an AM/FM/CD player and Sirius XM satellite radio, and rear-wheel drive. All Grand Cherokees as of 2017 get a standard rear-view camera and parking sensors. Options on the Laredo are more limited than in the rest of the lineup, but you can add a number of upgrades, including an off-road package that has skid plates, select terrain, and all the extras, with a bottom-line price that's still under $36,000. Beyond the Laredo models, the Grand Cherokee starts to pivot from family crossover into high-end hardware. Ascend to the Limited and you'll get 18-inch wheels, leather seating with a power front passenger seat, the power tailgate, remote start, and heated front seats. Adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitors, navigation, and off-reading assistance systems are among the many options on the Limited, which also has a different appearance, with more body color trim. The X5 V6 and V8 engine are both optional on Limited models and above. While you'll likely be very happy with the Laredo or Limited if you are seeking a comfortable, versatile family vehicle, the Overland and Summit models are the way to go if you want an appearance that's a little more distinct as well as a feature set that really does align with rival model bearing luxury badges. The Overland adds 20-inch wheels, LED daytime running lights, navigation, and air suspension on four-wheel drive models, Napa leather seating with ventilated front seats, a panoramic sunroof, and a leather trim dash. The interior features Overland embroidered seats, as well. At the nearly $50,000 Summit, you'll be rewarded with almost all of these features as standard equipment, as well as fancy steering headlights, unique wheel and wood choices, including the matte open port finish, and a suede headliner. Only a Blu-ray rear seat entertainment system and a center console CD changer options. Summit model had standard parking assist and trailer hitch camera view for 2017. For 2017, a new Trailhead model joins the lineup. It gets 18-inch off-road tires, red tow hooks, quadra-drive II, an electronic limited slip differential, and air suspension with more suspension travel, select speed control, skid plates, and a black leather interior. As the most expensive model in the lineup, the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT carries the halo but in a way that's not entirely rough and rugged. As the most expensive model in the lineup, the Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT carries the halo but in a way that's not entirely rough and rugged. It's more rooted in the racetrack than it is on the trail, and it has its own standard features, from luxury touches like leather and suede seats, carbon fiber interior trim, metallic pedal pads, power tilt/telescope steering, active noise cancellation, and a leather trim and heated steering wheel. The SRT also includes performance pages, which displays different timers and performance data such as 0 to 60 mph times, braking distances, and quarter-mile times, for those places and times that let you exercise the SRT's massive tires and mil horsepower. Options on the SRT include a dual-paint sunroof, a luxury package with leather trim and a power tailgate, and a 19-speaker, 825-watt Harman Kardon audio system. For the buyer who can't leave any option box unchecked, the SRT Night package adds special black wheels, blacked-out pillars, roof, spoiler and grille, and black hides inside for $4,980 more. That can run the price for a Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT up past $70,000, and yeah, we don't get it either. Jeep Grand Cherokee Infotainment. One of those places where the Grand Cherokee is on better footing than some rivals is in infotainment technology. The Grand Cherokee plugs into the data slipstream via the available Uconnect mobile package, and includes an 8.4-inch LCD touchscreen that controls infotainment and climate systems, in tandem with voice and steering wheel controls. Data connectivity is wired into the car, bringing streaming audio capability, as well as wireless connectivity and in-car hotspot capability, making it even easier to stream video to portable devices and to passengers needing entertainment. The smaller, 5.0-inch center touchscreen is standard on Laredo and Limited models. The main takeaway from Uconnect is that it's a bit easier and quicker to learn than Cadillac's Q or Ford systems. While it has just as many steering wheel buttons, It also has a persistent row of icons, shortcuts to favorite controls on the center display. On top of all that, it's laid out with clean, pretty, and well-rendered screens. It isn't perfect, though. Voice commands are usually understood, but the underlying functions aren't always as rich as you might hope. Fuel economy. Gas mileage isn't great in the Grand Cherokee. The turbodiesel is the mileage leader for 2017. Provided you don't want a hybrid, the Grand Cherokee probably offers the powertrain you need to get the fuel economy you want. We give it a green score of 6 out of 10, based on its EPA V6 gas mileage. The Grand Cherokee kicks off things with decent V6 gas mileage. The EPA rates it at 19 miles per gallon city, 26 highway, 21 combined for rear-drive versions. With all-wheel drive, the V6 is pegged at 18/25/21 mpg. With the midline V8 and standard all-wheel drive, the Grand Cherokee is rated at 14/22/17 mpg. The Grand Cherokee SRT is the gas hog of the family. It earns EPA ratings of 13/19/15 mpg, and we've seen lower, much lower. All versions come with an 8-speed automatic that helps reduce fuel consumption, while the V8s also include cylinder deactivation. Then there's the Grand Cherokee turbodiesel. The EPA hasn't published its ratings for the 2017 model year. Chrysler predicts last year's numbers will carry over, 22/30/25 mpg for rear-drive models, or at 21/28/24 mpg with four-wheel drive, with a range of 730 miles.